Today is Tuesday, the 18th of January, 2011. My name is Jim Mayola, and it is my pleasure to be interviewing Carroll, pronounce your last name?
Emslie.
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 Carroll Emslie, and we're at the Community Media Center here in Westminster. Carroll, what's the origin of the name Emslie?
Well, actually, my maiden name was Lamb, which is English.
Okay.
But I was married to a Scottish man, and his name was Emslie.
Okay.
And so the name actually, because I looked it up in the library at the University of Minnesota, the name actually was English many centuries ago, but those people moved to Scotland, so it's become a Scottish name.
Okay.
And it's a rather unusual name because people could mess up those 6 letters worse than any other way.
I'm sure.
But I lived in Stonehaven in Scotland for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and anytime anybody asks me my name, I say it's Emslie, E-M-S-L-I-E. And I was in Stonehaven one day, and I needed to take my shoes in to be fixed. And the man, cobbler I suppose you'd call him, asked my name, and I said, it's Emslie, E-M-S-L-I-E. And he looked at me funny, and he said, I know. And I looked over his head, and it was Emslie the shoemaker.
Oh, my goodness.
And there were a lot of
story.
Emslies around that area in Stonehaven.
Oh, what a great story.
So
Now, you told me that you had spent some time in Minnesota. Is that where you grew up?
I was born in Minnesota. I was born in St. James, Minnesota, which is a little community in southwestern Minnesota.
Okay.
Now mainly Hispanic. And when I was maybe 3, my family moved to Alexandria, Minnesota, which is a slightly bigger town. It's a resort town, really. Many, many lakes. People come there to fish, swim, and enjoy the lakes.
So how long did you live in Minnesota, Carroll?
I was born there, and I left there, well, I suppose permanently. I left to go to university. I went to university in Iowa, so I was 18 then. But I would come home, of course, for vacations. And when I married, I finished my education at the University of Minnesota, married a man from Scotland, and we moved to Grand Rapids, Minnesota, where we lived for 6 years before, and then we left. We moved to Australia.
Wow, very interesting. So you actually, your formative years then were in Minnesota.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so grade school and high school and all. What was Minnesota like?
Cold.
Cold.
No, Minnesota, my chief memories of Minnesota are, because we had a home on the lake, are being in the lake, or on the lake, or around the lake.
Walking on the water.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm actually taking my grandson with me next month. He's at the end of this month, and he's 11, and he is so excited at the prospect of ice fishing.
Yes.
And he asked his mother the other day if he could have a wetsuit, and she said, "What do you want a wetsuit for?" And he said, "Well, I'll need it." He said, "When I dive below the ice with my net to catch the fish."
Oh my.
He doesn't have a clue what ice fishing is like.
No.
But he's very excited to go.
Good for him. And how old is he?
11.
Okay.
Yeah, I just turned 11.
Oh, that's great. Oh, he'll have a good time. As long as he doesn't get too cold.
Well, I tell you, they live on a horse farm, and they're outside all the time, and they have more padding than you could ever hope.
Okay, good. So you spent some time in Australia.
My husband, I met him during a kind of busman's holiday in Scotland, and he came over here, and we married over here in Minnesota. But his big dream always was to go to Australia. And I was a teacher, and the opportunity came to teach in Australia, and so off we went.
So how long did you spend in Australia?
2 years almost to the day, because he hated it, loathed it. From the
Really?
minute the plane landed, he hated the place.
No kidding.
And I didn't like it either. It was
Well,
too hot,
At least you figured it out.
and it was so far from my family. I was sure I would never in my life see them again.
Yes.
So.
What was it like, though? Tell me some experiences about Australia. Couldn't have been all bad. Where were you?
Really? We were outside Sydney. When we arrived, we stayed in a hostel for maybe 6 weeks.
Okay.
A series of Quonset huts.
Right.
And we had a Quonset hut. Everybody ate in a central dining room. The food was awful. There were big wash houses where you could do your laundry in these big sinks, and just squish, squish, squish. And I quite liked it there. I didn't like the food much, but
Yeah.
and it was free.
Uh-huh.
You know, food. There was no charge for any of it, and we
Right.
could have lived there for I think a year, but my husband hated it.
Mm-hmm.
So we found a house and moved to a house in town, and then from there we moved to a house in the country. There are good memories. I suppose there are good memories. The children were little.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very busy teaching school and
Sure.
taking care of little ones at home, and
Mhm.
you know, just the things young moms do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It just didn't work out.
no,
No.
no, because we knew that we would leave as soon as we had to stay 2 years because we
Mhm.
went as immigrants.
Right.
But we knew that we would leave as soon as that 2 years were up.
And then where did your journey take you?
To Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband wanted to come back to America. I wanted to go to Scotland, and I
Okay.
won. So we went
Yay.
to Scotland.
Okay. And how was that?
Well, we went to Edinburgh, not Edinburgh. We went to Aberdeen, which was his home.
Mhm.
And that was the time when the oil boom was in its heyday.
Right.
And there was absolutely no place to live. And we finally found a little, I suppose it had been a shepherd's house,
Mm-hmm.
way out in the middle of a forestry estate.
Wow.
We had no car. My husband was working on the oil rigs. He was away 2 weeks at a time. Then he'd be home for a week. And so I was alone out there with the children.
Wow.
At that time, I had his son, my stepson Tom,
Mm-hmm.
and his mother was living in Aberdeen.
Mhm.
And we had 2 little girls who were 4 and 3 at that time. And I was newly pregnant with my last child.
Mm.
And this little cottage had no electricity, it had no running water, it had no nothing.
Wow.
So I would stay out there alone with the children for
Mhm.
2 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I was throwing up all the time.
I bet.
No central, no plumbing.
my.
The house was on the top of a hill, and then there was a fence around it, and then there was a cow pasture, and then the road was at the bottom of the hill, and on the other side of the road was a little stream. Beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful,
Mhm.
clean, fresh, cold water.
Mhm.
And so every day we'd take buckets and we would brave the cow pasture
Mhm.
and go down, and the children would play in the water,
Mhm.
and we'd haul up buckets of water.
Wow.
There was a toilet, and we could
Yeah.
flush it
Sure.
by putting water in
Right.
the tank, and then, you know, so there was
Exactly.
a toilet there. So
Yes.
there must have been a septic system, I suppose. I don't know where it went,
Mm-hmm.
but it was cold. It was so cold, and I would saw wood for the fireplace, and so we'd have a fire in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
But no refrigerator, of course. There was no electricity, but we would. I could set a Jell-O on the kitchen table. It was cold.
Wow.
And we
My
didn't refrigerate
goodness.
meat because it was cold enough in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We didn't have to.
Yeah.
So.
Gee whiz.
But you know,
That's
it was.
rough.
I have lots of happy memories of living there.
Mhm.
We hadn't been there very long when my daughter, who was 4, said to me, "You know, there was a man watching me today." Well, of course, immediately my heart was just in my throat
Mhm.
because we were 3 miles from the nearest road, from
Sure.
a mile to the place where the milkman would leave the milk.
Right.
We had to walk every day to pick up the milk.
Mm.
And I thought, oh my gosh, who's there? And I didn't see anybody.
Mhm.
And she said to me one day, "That man sat by my bed and watched me last night." And I came to the conclusion that there was an angel watching over my
Yeah.
children, and I never worried about it. Never worried about it at all.
So how long were you in Scotland?
Well, we were about a year, about 9 months in that place, and then
Mhm.
we moved to a farm cottage that had a road and electricity and
Wow.
water and a
You-
bus that went by the door.
You had arrived.
And we were there probably, my son was born there, and we moved to southern Scotland when he was maybe a year,
Mhm.
because I got a teaching job in the south of Scotland.
Okay.
So my husband was not he was not a steady worker, let's say.
Mhm.
He worked at jobs for a while, and then he'd get fed up, or they'd get
Mhm.
fed up with him, and he'd move
Mhm.
on to another job.
Mhm.
And so really, my income was the basis of our family economy.
Now, what grades did you teach?
First grade.
First grade.
First
okay.
grade.
Wow.
Yeah. In Britain, they call it infants.
Mm-hmm.
Taught infants in
Wow.
Britain.
Okay.
So first-year infants, second-year infants, and third-year infants.
Mm-hmm. So what brought you back to the United States?
Well, when the kids were growing up, about every third year, I would manage to bring them over here for vacation to see their relatives and for me to see my family.
Sure.
And they just grew up thinking America was the place on earth to live. And so one by one, as they became adults, they moved to America because they had a citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, my husband and I divorced, and when I could finally sell my house and my dear old dog died, I figured I'd go where my kids were.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back to America.
Why did you choose Carroll County?
I can't say I chose Carroll County. I moved to North Carolina because that's where my daughter and my son both live.
Mm-hmm.
And then my daughter moved away, my son moved away, and my daughter moved up here to Carroll County.
Mm-hmm.
And then my son moved away, my daughter moved in with me, she moved away, and I knew I had to leave the apartment I was in because they wanted to renovate it.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter had said, Mom, you need to be near your grandkids. Mom, you need to be near your grandkids. So I moved here.
And how long ago was that?
I think maybe I've been here 7 years.
Okay.
Either 6 or 7 years. I forget exactly what year I moved here.
And where in the county do you live?
Originally, I lived in Westminster Apartments over on Pool Road.
Mm-hmm.
But in August of this year, I moved out to Finksburg.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Downtown Finksburg.
Yeah, where's that? Tell me. Although I do like the Food Line there. It's a nice store.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed. Okay, so you're a recent newcomer then to Carroll County and interested in history.
Very interested in history,
Good,
yes.
good.
I love to hear people's life stories.
Mm-hmm. And so what are some of the things that you've done since you've been here in the county?
You mean to earn money or
No,
just on?
Just in general.
Well, I work at Len Stoller Chevrolet dealership. I'm the evening cashier. I work every evening and all day Saturdays. I think I do just under 30 hours, so it's not full-time.
Right.
I spend one night a week at Somerville with an elderly lady who has dementia now, poor dear.
Yeah.
And those are the two things I do to earn money. Because I have a pension. I have 2 pensions from Britain and I have a pension from America.
Wow.
Which I could live on, but I couldn't do anything extra like go to Minnesota.
Right.
So, or buy nice Christmas gifts or any of the things I like to do.
Yeah.
So I just keep working. And when I'm not working, I guess I belong to this Red Hats group. I'm quite active in my church, the First Presbyterian Church. And I see my grandkids as much as I can.
Good for you.
So.
Tell me a little bit about the Red Hats.
Well, when I first moved here and I didn't know anybody, I thought, well, you know, maybe if I join, I've read an article in a magazine about Red Hats, and I thought maybe there's a Red Hat Society here I could join. So I went online. I can use the computer a little bit, and I found there must be 25 Red Hat groups in Westminster. There are so many of them, but lots of them were closed because they only get to about 20 members, and then they close because they get too big to go out to dinner together or you know, to do things together. But I did find one that was open, and I called the lady and joined it, and we meet once a week. The first time I went with them, I said to one of the women, I said, what exactly do Red Hats do? And she said, well, we don't really do anything, but we always eat well. I thought, oh, that sounds like me.
Yeah. So you have a good time.
Yes.
Let's socialize. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
wonderful.
see any of those other ladies socially, but when we get together every month, you know, we know each other, and it's, I know a lot of them do. They belong to the same book club, or you know, they go to concerts. But because I work in the evenings, I can't be part of any of those things.
Right.
So, but I quite like having my days free. You know, I had a chance to work all day and have evenings free, and I thought, I don't really want to. I like having my days free. So
it's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carol, what in the 7 years that you've been in the county, what kinds of changes have you seen?
In Carroll County? I don't think I've seen an awful lot of changes. There's more, I would suppose, out on 140, there's more development out there, and I do think downtown gets deader and deader, which is too bad because it's a charming little downtown.
It really is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
But I wouldn't think there's been any major changes in 7 years. They could certainly do something about 140. Now that I live in Finksburg and have to drive it every day, I realize the problems with 140 that I wasn't aware of before. And I know there's always plans to do something about 140, but whether or not they'll ever do it. I think isn't the latest plan to make it 3-lane through parts of Westminster?
I don't know.
I think I read somewhere.
Yeah.
All these projected plans for alleviating the traffic congestion.
Now, let's talk about your grandchildren. How old are your grandchildren?
I have 5 grandchildren. 2 of them live in Georgia, and 3 of them live here. The 2 in Georgia are 17 and 15, I think. The 3 that are here are 17, 11, and 8. But that family also has, this is very complicated, the half-brother of the 2 in Georgia lives with them, and he is 13.
Okay.
His name is Tristan.
So they're going to school here in the county?
When they have school. Well, when it's closed, they don't.
Well, that's true. So how are they doing in the school system?
Pretty good, I think. Brendan, who's a senior this year, he's going to graduate. He has spent the last year and a half at the culinary school at the Votech.
Very good.
He wants to be a chef, and next year he's going to some university, I don't know what it's called.
Excellent.
And then Tristan will start high school next year. Aiden will go to middle school next year, and Katie will be still in elementary school.
Do they seem to like Carroll County?
I don't know if they like Carroll County particularly. They like where they live. They live on a horse farm now, and they love it.
Yeah.
They all work, of course, like mad because their
Sure.
mother is a workaholic and expects everybody else to be a workaholic as well.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
So
hard work didn't kill anybody.
I guess not, but I do worry about them sometimes if they ever get any sleep, if they ever eat regularly. Or
Do they have lots of friends?
I wouldn't say lots of friends. Katie probably has the most. Katie is from Kazakhstan. They adopted her. She's 8 now. They adopted her when she was about 10 months old. And she's a very personable little girl, but she's also a very strong-willed little girl. So she and her mama are kind of always like this. Eileen will say to me, "Why did I ever think I wanted a daughter? Why did I think I wanted a daughter?"
Oh, it'll all turn out in the end.
But Eileen is very into horses. She boards horses, and she rides, and she teaches riding. And Katie is an excellent young horsewoman, which I think is what saves her from being sent back to Kazakhstan.
That's wonderful.
But she's not really a student. She doesn't focus very well. She does very well. She reads and she writes and so forth. But school is not a passion for her the way horses are. Yeah, if she's home, she wants to be with the horses.
Right.
So.
Well, Carol, let me ask you this. I always conclude my interviews with, if you were going to give somebody some advice, let's talk about somebody. Let's pick your grandson who's getting ready to graduate from high school and go to college, I suspect, or go to school and start his own career and probably start his own family. You've been around. You grew up in Minnesota. You've spent some time in Australia. You spent some time in Scotland. You've come back to the United States. You've had lots of experiences, so you've had lots of opportunities for successes and failures. What advice would you give somebody who was starting out today?
I think I would tell him to find happiness in himself, because I don't think if you haven't learned to be happy in yourself, I don't think you can spread any happiness. I don't think you can make other people happy if you aren't at peace with yourself. And I don't think it matters where you live. I don't think it matters how you live. I think it matters what's in you.
That's very good advice. How does one find happiness?
Well, there's another. I think by not having expectations that can't be reached. You know, I have a sister whose big expectation always was that by the time she was 40, she would be a millionaire.
Oh, goodness.
Well, of course, she didn't make that.
Yeah.
By the time she was 40, I think she was bankrupt, but never mind. You know, if you have unrealistic expectations, things that you're never, ever going to be able to reach,
Sure.
then you're never, ever going to be happy.
Right.
Somebody said to me once, no, I've forgotten what I was going to say. If you can't have what you want, then learn to want what you have. And I think that's good advice.
Very good. Very interesting. Well, Carol, I want to thank you so much for the interview today. It was very nice talking to you. And with a snowy day like we're having today, the best advice I can give you is stay warm and dry.
And get home safely.
You bet.